Welcome to My Hometown, the program that explores clubs, organizations, businesses, and issues across Nassau and Suffolk counties and sheds light on the different towns that are making a difference.
Hello and welcome to My Hometown. I'm Bill Horan, along with my co-host, Stacy Raine.
Bill, today we're going to meet 12-year-old sixth grader from the North Merrick School District who has raised tens of thousands of dollars since she was only 6 years old for the Ronald McDonald House Charities. And the way she does it is quite special.
Well, today we're going to meet Julianna Tand and her mother, Jennifer, creator of Juliana's Works of Heart, a 501c3 nonprofit organization where Juliana sculpts clay figures and does many other things to raise money for charities to help sick kids. Juliana and Jennifer, welcome to My Hometown on the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC. Juliana, tell us, how did you get started doing this? What made you decide to create these clay figures?
So first of all, I just want to say thank you so much for inviting me. This is such an honor because this offers more publicity so that more people know how wonderful the Ronald McDonald House is.
Well, we want to get everybody in Nassau, Suffolk, and Queens on board because what you're doing is wonderful. So you're helping those sick kids through Ronald McDonald House, other charities. So you're the star today, and your mom, start telling us.
And she's so cool. She's only 12. She started this when she was 6.
I know it gets more amazing as you keep talking. So
I know.
So I started this when my grandparents were starting and celebrating their 40th anniversary, and I wanted to make them something more than just a card. So my mom used to do clay when she was in college just as like a hobby, and we kept some of that old clay in our craft supplies along with like our paint and stuff. So I looked through a bin and I saw some clay, and I also saw this picture frame. It's called a shadow box, and I made a sculpture of my grandparents' wedding as if we were all there at their wedding. So I made that, and then I glued it into a shadow box, and when we went out to dinner that night, my grandparents were blown away. They were so amazed by it. And all the waiters came over and were looking at it and were like, that's so amazing, you should post that. So we posted it on Facebook, and and the comments were just full of, I want one of my pet, I want one of for my family, can I have this for my anniversary? And I couldn't say no, so I said yes, and I decided to turn it into a business, and it just went from there.
And is that your business is called, if I'm correct, Juliana's Works of Heart?
Yes.
H-E-A-R-T.
Yeah.
Not art, heart. Mm-hmm. So is that how the business came about, from that first gift to your grandparents?
Yeah.
That's really wonderful.
What's so cool is that she didn't just decide like, oh, okay, well, I'll just make all this art. But she decided, I'm going to make this art, and then I'm going to donate the proceeds. That is really cool. I want to know how that came about.
So I previously baked at the Ronald McDonald House. When I was in kindergarten, there was this baking volunteer program, and I started baking there. And I saw what a wonderful place it was, and I started learning more and more about it. And it was so wonderful. So when I made the clay sculpture for my grandparents, I decided I want to help benefit the Ronald McDonald House because I saw what such a wonderful place it was.
And I want to remind people, you're doing this at 6 and 7 years old.
Yeah.
And this was in October that she made her first piece. So between October and Christmas of that year, she made several pieces. She had earned $200, which she was super proud of, and we were proud of her for. And I said, all right, what do you want to do with the money? You have $200 to spend. And she said, no, I'll never forget. We were sitting in Friendly's, and she said, no, this is going to go to help sick kids. Can we buy toys for them? So we went to Five Below, and she went on a little shopping spree, picking things out, and we delivered that first year $200 worth of toys to Ronald McDonald House, and then it just snowballed from there.
Jennifer, as a mom, I would have been patting myself on the back when that happened, being like, wow, my kid. Were you just amazed at her heart?
I'm continually amazed by her. She surprises me every day. And this is her personality. She has a heart of gold, literally.
And I have to say, I love art, and I love looking at art. And you were showing us a picture before we got started of that very first piece. Mm-hmm. And when you were showing it, I was thinking that was recent. That was when she was 6.
Yeah.
I mean, she's so cool.
Yeah. She had this talent that we didn't even know about. And she tapped into it for a great cause. And it's just continued to grow from there. And she's for as creative as she is also very smart and clever. So the next year she raised like $700, and then it became 2020 and shut down. Mm-hmm. And she came out of the craft room one day with this teeny tiny 2-inch sculpture of Bernie Sanders with his mittens.
Oh,
do you remember
my
that?
Gosh, yes, yeah.
And she said, I want to sell him to make money for charity. And then she came back in a few minutes later and she's like, no, I love him too much. He's too cute. He's so tiny. And I was like, you don't have to sell everything that you make. That's fine. But eventually she decided, well, maybe I could raise more than like $20 for him. Yeah. And I don't want to make 100 of them, but she posted it and people really liked it. So we offered $20 chances to win him.
Oh, what a great idea.
She kind of went viral. How much did you raise?
$6,000.
Yeah.
$6,000.
$6,000
for chances to win that little sculpture.
You get more and more. You probably have enough business background now for what a college student would learn in classes. Seriously, and you learned it on your own. How to turn a clay figure into a lot of money for charity, which is the best that anybody could do, not just for yourself, for the charity. But we got to give a little credit because from what I understand, Jennifer, you have artistic talent and also your mother, Juliana's grandmother.
Yes. I'm a teacher, but I've always been creative. And as a hobby, I paint Christmas ornaments and houses, like house portraits and things like that, but never really with clay. That was just very fortunate that I happened to have it in the art bin that she went digging through that day 6 years ago. And my mom is a certified decorative painter and artist and muralist. So, and she comes into the story about 2 years ago for Juliana, because her story changes a little bit from clay.
Okay.
Speaking of her business background, she had a different idea.
So I asked my grandma if we could like kind of hire her to teach a group of people how to paint. And we wanted to host a paint night at our local church in the basement. So we posted it. We got the publicity that we needed. And when the night came around in November, there were like 50 people there. And my grandma taught everybody how to paint a sunflower in a vase on a canvas, and we had all sorts of different raffle baskets there for them to buy and put their tickets into. And it was a really fun night. There were drinks and food, and we raised the first time, our first paint night, we raised about $6,000.
Wow.
You seem to like that number, 6,000.
Yeah.
That's a good week's earnings, right? While you're doing your homework and things. What grade are you in?
Right now I'm in 6th grade.
6th grade and 6,000. That's wonderful. So when you're in 7th grade, you'll work it out for inflation. I'm sure you've got that all figured out already, right? Probably.
Yeah.
I bet
it's in the works.
Yeah. So how did you come up with the name of the organization, Juliana's Works of Heart? Where'd that come from?
So I like doing art, and I was I was brainstorming, and I saw that the word heart had the word art in it, and that's why the letters art, A-R-T, to spell art, are uppercase in the word, and it's kind of like my logo now. It's a work of heart that I'm able to, it's an act of love that I'm able to raise so much money with the help of so many people, because every little bit adds up, and I'm so grateful. So it's like a work of heart for the families that I'm able to do this.
Are you sure you're only 12 years old? Because I'm listening to you, and I think you're one of those little people. You're really like 32 or something, because
Right.
you talk like a business person who's been doing this for 10 or 20 years. Do you have a driver's license? I can see if you're really 12. Anything like that? Any proof of age? All right, I'll take your mother's word for it, but
I drove
I'm
her here.
suspicious.
Yeah.
Let's put it that way. So.
I want to take a minute to remind our listeners that you are listening to My Hometown on the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC. I'm Stacy Raine here with Bill Horan, and our guest today is 12-year-old Julianna Tand, a sixth grader from the North Merrick School District who has raised tens of thousands of dollars since she was only 6 years old for the Ronald McDonald House Charities by creating Juliana's Works of Heart, a 501c3 nonprofit organization where Juliana sculpts clay figures and does many other things to raise money for charity to help sick kids. And we are also joined by her mom, Jennifer Tand.
Juliana, do you know what Ronald McDonald House actually does with some of this money, how they help the kids, and can you tell us?
Yes, so there's a hospital cart that they stock with games, food, drinks, and like Band-Aids and things that they wheel around through the hospital, and some of the money that we raise goes to stocking that cart for a week or so, and then they can also use it for meals for the family, for buying meals, the ingredients for the volunteer program to cook the meals, or they could use it. They're trying to build a sign for the Ronald McDonald House, like a big sign, so they need to raise money for that. So they might put it towards that, or they also, in the New Hyde Park location, they needed a new roof. So I tried to raise more money to help with that.
Before we go I'm sorry, Jennifer, you wanted to say something?
Oh, no, go ahead.
Okay,
Yeah.
I was just going to ask you, and Jennifer, if someone's hearing this and saying, oh, I would love to be part of that, I would love to help out in some way for Ronald McDonald House and the charities you deal with because you're so impressive, is there a website or is there a location or a phone number they could call to find out more information?
Absolutely. So right now, Juliana's presence on social media and the internet is on Facebook and Instagram. You could find her at Juliana's Works of Heart. And it pops up right away when you do a Google search. And Ronald McDonald House, it's the Ronald McDonald House Charities New York Metro chapter, and that serves both the New Hyde Park location, which services Cohen's Children's Hospital, and they're breaking ground for a second location on Long Island in Stony Brook, which will help the families who are who are receiving treatment at Stony Brook.
So we're covering all of Long Island, so no matter where you live, you can help out, you can do good things.
Yeah.
You can find out more about Juliana's Works of Heart, and maybe take part in one of the auctions, find a clay figure or a clay device that you would like to bid on, but somewhere in there we can work together with you. So
Yes, and we've really been amazed by the generosity of the community and local businesses and organizations. She touched on this briefly, but for that paint night we've hosted for the past 2 years, she's gone door to door with a letter to local businesses asking for donations for raffle baskets. And the community has been so grateful. We've gotten Ducks tickets, a luxury suite.
Wow.
Her Kenwall Day Camp donated a month of summer camp, like big ticket items, MetaQuest 3s, gift cards to local restaurants. So everybody, even if you can't help by making a monetary donation, I think we've all learned, it's been a great lesson for our family that everybody can make a difference no matter how they're able to help, whether it's volunteering to bake cookies like we started all those years ago, or even now, groups who are listening now, what could they do to help with dinners, like sororities and fraternities?
You can volunteer at the Ronald McDonald House to either bake or put together meals for the families. You can volunteer there. And even if you can't donate money to me to give to the Ronald McDonald House, or just directly to the Ronald McDonald House. Even just going on Facebook and liking or commenting on one of my videos, it gets the algorithm going, and it helps me get more publicity to somebody who might do that again, and it'll be a cycle until eventually somebody
until it reaches the right person, and to help us raise more money.
You are so savvy at 12. I mean, this is just incredible. I thought you were just so inspiring.
Are you looking for a job, by the way? Because the director is here, and he may be hiring today. So, afterward, let's get your resume, and we'll just keep it in the box in case, okay?
Get her in that sales department, She's got the courage to go door to door. That is so cool for a 12-year-old,
And we got told no a lot, too, right? Or we'll call back later.
Yeah.
What was that like?
Okay.
But we didn't give up.
Yeah.
And that's the main lesson. That's true. That's right in there.
Is that what you learned there, just to keep going? And
yes.
Yeah. That is really cool. If there are other kids listening to you and saying, wow, Juliana does all this cool stuff for kids that need it, what would be your advice to them if they want to do, something like you've done?
My advice to them would be, if you have a talent, you can use it for good. And even if you haven't found your talent yet, you can, I didn't know that I had a talent with clay, but if you think you can cook or bake, or try it, experiment and see what works for you, and then eventually, when you find your talent, you can use it for good. And the main idea of this is to never give up, because like we said, we got told no a lot, or we'll call back later when we were going door to door to ask for donations to raffle off, or things to raffle off. We got told no a lot, but we didn't give up, because we knew that we would get enough to raise the amount of money that was suitable for us. And even if it was just $1 that we raised, that would still be amazing, because every little bit adds up, and it will help, and it'll pile up one penny at a time. So I'm super grateful for everybody else who has donated. So my message would be, don't give up, and if you have a talent, use it for good.
Cool.
Jennifer and Juliana, do you find, after seeing you and meeting you at one of these events, and both of you actually, do people come out and say, my school or my club or my organization would like to be part of this, or help, more than just donations?
Yes. Well, that's interesting, because, again, savvy businesswoman that she is, around the holidays, she said, Mommy, can we do a craft fair? And I said, sure. So she sculpted a bunch of inventory for the craft fair, and I rented a table for her, and she went, and she, again, 100% of every penny that she raises goes right to Ronald McDonald House. And she raised, I think, $560 that day. But she made a connection that day that we didn't know about until I got a phone call last month from a Girl Scout troop leader who said, "Oh, I met you and Juliana at the craft fair, and I was impressed by her. Would you mind? Do you think she would come and do a little presentation and a clay workshop for my girls? Because I think they'd really love to see it." So we consulted, and
we figured out the date and everything, and I went to go present to this Girl Scout troop at our local library. In one of their rooms there, we put together clay kits, and we taught them how they could use their talent for good. We helped them explore their talents, and we even made a little self-portrait out of clay that I taught them how to do, to show them that they are a work of art. And everybody has a special talent that they can use for good.
And they raised enough money that night to fund a family's stay at the house for 2 nights and fill up their car with a tank of gas.
Wow.
I know it's important for kids, when you talk about abstract numbers, like 6,600, you and I know that's a lot of money.
Yeah.
But to see what it can actually do for a family that's in the middle of a health crisis is really amazing.
And it's taking a little bit of stress off those families, which is just incredible. Just incredible.
And if you've never had the pleasure of seeing a Ronald McDonald House from a volunteer point of view, like we went on a tour when we went to go bake there. It's a 42-room house. Each room so it can hold 42 families.
Wow.
And it's usually all filled. They host 6,700 people a year. So if you can just think about that, that's how many just in our one New Hyde Park location.
That is amazing. And it's just, like I said, just such a relief, I know, for those families. The things you were doing is just lessening stress on people who are really, really going through a hard time. That is so cool. I want to remind our listeners that you're listening to My Hometown on the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC. My name is Stacy Raine. I'm here with Bill Horan, and our guest today is 12-year-old Juliana Tand, a 6th grader from North Merrick School District. She has raised tens of thousands of dollars since she was just 6 years old for the Ronald McDonald House Charities by creating Juliana's Works of Heart, a 501c3 nonprofit organization where Juliana sculpts clay figures and does many other things to raise money for charity to help sick kids. And we're also joined by her mom, Julianna Tand. Juliana, are you still making art right now, or are you really focused on those workshops?
So I am focused on the workshops, but I do make a few clay sculptures either for craft fairs or for future raffles or auctions. And even if the clay figure that I put up for sale doesn't sell right away, then I can always put it towards inventory for another craft fair. And I am also taking custom orders at the moment.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
So I am focused on both of them right now, the workshops and making figurines.
Yeah. You are a busy young lady.
Yeah.
Now, I want to ask her, being so busy, do you have your day segmented? You seem so well organized.
She must have a planner.
I mean this. Do you get up at 4 a.m. and you have your breakfast from 4 a.m. to 4:08, and then you walk the dog to 4, and then you just make clay figures for 3 hours, then go to school, join the band, play on the football team, whatever. Juliana, is that your day?
Not exactly.
But I can use on the weekends and after school, I can usually find her if she's not with her animals or rehearsing for the school play. She is usually in the art room working on clay or with the laptop working on tweaking her slideshows for her new presentations.
Oh, that is awesome.
Last weekend, she's asked me, she's like, Mommy, could we go to a coffee shop and work like those college kids that we see? It's like, absolutely.
Yeah,
so we went on a little coffee date with the laptop, and that's where she did her first presentation for the Girl Scout workshop. So and I have to say, like, seeing the girls' response to her and seeing somebody their own age sharing their story, I wish you could have seen the looks on their faces, because like the light bulb moment went off, and it was like, oh wait, I don't really want to do clay, but I could do this. Or maybe some of them were talking about like a lemonade stand. Like, it doesn't have to be super complicated. You don't have to turn your thing into a 501c3 and do all that paperwork that we did.
Yeah,
but you can make a difference.
Yeah,
and that's the message that these workshops. So she's really excited about them. She's got like 4 more troops coming up.
Wow.
Yeah, just from that one lady posting about it. So social media is amazing.
Yeah, and she knows all about it. I mean, she is so savvy. Jennifer, I'm curious, from your perspective, you were talking about lessons you've learned. What are some of those things that you've learned through this process?
Never underestimate a child.
Yeah,
I mean,
sure.
We were sitting in that booth at Friendly. She was sick. She said, I'm going to have a business and I want to donate to charity. And she didn't say, like, can I, or will you help me? She just said, I'm going to do this. And she did it. So anybody can accomplish anything. It's a lesson I try to teach my students in the classroom, and her twin brother, who is super supportive of her. And it just goes to show you that one person can truly make a difference. And there's like the snowball effect and trickle down, like every little bit helps. Because she's raised $30,000 or $33,000 at this point. But it's really been, if you look back at like the history of the donations, it's been $5 at a time, $20 at a
Yeah.
time. It's not like there's been like a big benefactor or
Right.
$1,000 donation. She's really done this little by little. And a little by little, a little becomes a lot.
And I like the way you say that because I'm sure somebody in the group really can't afford a lot to give compared to the big businesses and multimillionaires. But if someone can give a quarter, a dollar, 20, whatever is fair to them or their talents like you're doing, maybe help out, maybe help you organize or set up or do some of the projects. I think that's wonderful. And the lesson, and you give it so easily because it doesn't seem like you're the dynamic person running around. You're so nice and quiet sitting there. We wouldn't know that you're an entrepreneur. You're probably going to own half of Long Island in about 6 years, and we'll see little clay figures all over the place. But before we get finished with things, tell us again, if someone wants to take part in this or if they'd like you to come and give a presentation, Jennifer, how do they get in touch? How do they arrange this?
They can go to Juliana's Works of Heart on Facebook or Instagram, or our email address is julianasworksofheart@gmail.com. And she answers emails every night after school.
Goodness. What do you not do? That's what I'm really curious about. She's got all these things that she's doing. And you said she's in the theater and she's just got.
And she's going to be a vet when she grows up.
A vet. Okay. Yeah, because I heard you liked animals, right?
Yeah.
Do you have animals?
Yeah.
Yeah?
I have frogs and lizards and a dog.
Frogs and lizards and a dog. Wow. And you take care of all of them?
Yeah.
Wow. That's special.
Do they all get along?
No.
You ever see one of them disappear and the dog is just sitting there like, dinner was good?
Let's hope not.
Hazel is not allowed near the amphibian room.
Now, before we wrap up, I have to ask you one more question. How long till we see you on Shark Tank?
Good point.
Come on, you better give. I'm sure you have a number in your head. 7 months, 3 days, and 15 hours or something. No?
We actually were thinking about that, but I'm not sure. But
This won't be the last that you hear
Yeah.
from her.
Yeah, well, Shark Tank, you heard it here. She's coming. She's coming. Be looking
Yeah.
at this lady.
Yeah, she's been on Nightly News with Lester Holt twice.
What?
Yeah.
Wow.
The kids edition.
Channel 12.
Yeah, Channel
Yeah.
12, Newsday.
I was just going to ask if this was
This is
your
our first radio show.
Oh, first
So-
right. Okay.
Yeah.
Always remember.
Yeah.
We want when you're on Shark Tank, just remember to say, it was Stacy and Bill who helped me out there and asked me all the good questions.
And if
So-
anybody has a connection with clay or Sculpey, that would be amazing.
All right.
Listen, this has been
You
so
never
much
know.
fun.
You never know.
You never know. You got to ask.
Juliana and Jennifer, thank you so much. This has been really a lot of fun, educational for both of us, and we hope we can be helpful to you and help you get more money raised for the Ronald McDonald House. We want to thank our guests today, 12-year-old Julianna Tand and her mom, Jennifer, who are the creators of Juliana's Work of Heart. And thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank
Thank
you
you
so much.
I'm Bill Horan. I'm here with Stacy Raine. We thank you for listening to this week's episode of My Hometown.
We'd like to get your feedback on My Hometown. Send your comments to WHPC@ncc.edu. Nassau Community College, where success starts and continues. Till next time, this is Bill St. James. And remember, there's no town like your hometown.